Today I'm replacing the bottom ball joint on V70S. I last did this 4.5 years ago and about 55,000 miles, and I used Delphi parts, which probably cost about £25–30 for each side. This time I've decided to go with the genuine Volvo part, which is £93, but does come with a new bolt for the drive shaft, which you're supposed to replace. And I'm told that this should last a long time, well over 100,000 miles, so it should be worth it. And I've got a strap around the bottom arm ready for pulling it back. They're a lot tougher than most cars to drop down. The original nut on here would be 18mm, but I think on this Delphi part it's 19. Use a wire brush on the threads that you can see here, and then you might need a Torx bit to hold the centre when removing the nut. I think I got lucky with this one, so the centre hasn't spun. But if the centre does spin, you'll need to lock it with a Torx or hex bit, whichever it takes, and obviously use a spanner. I do think that potentially this can be done without undoing the drive shaft, but as I've got a new bolt anyway, it doesn't hurt so. And what I'd do is undo the bolt most of the way, so there's just a few threads of the bolt in, and then knock it in. I was expecting to have to do that with a hammer, but clearly last time I've done all these jobs I've made sure that there's copper grease and everything in the right places, which is making the job a lot easier. So drive shaft is loose. This is so that the inner CV joint doesn't get pulled out when the strut is moving once the bottom ball joint's out. Although if you're careful it doesn't happen, but 2 or 3 times I've done it where I've took the inner CV out and had to rebuild it, unfortunately. So what I've done is I've put a strap around the bottom arm, and conveniently there's a hook, or a place you can get a hook on this part of the subframe mount here. And then I'm using this cable style winch now. Once you've got some tension on it, I'd go and hit the side of the bottom of the ball joint with a hammer. Oh, that's actually come off. So this is plenty of space. I've got the bottom arm securely held down, and now we've got the two bolts that hold the ball joint to the hub. The 17mm on these Delphi parts, and I can't remember what they were on here, 13? I think they're only 13mm on the original genuine bolts. Now what we need to do is, on this little ledge here, on both sides of the ball joint, we need to knock it with a punch or a chisel, just to knock it down. And out of the hub. I could really do with a longer punch, but I don't have one. The best thing about having been the last person to work on this is I know for a fact I put plenty of copper slip on the ball joint that's already in there. It's just getting in the right position. I'm actually struggling with this one more than I thought I would. I've taken the drive shaft out in order to give me some more access to knock the ball joint out of the hub. I'm trying to do is chisel it with an SDS drill. If I could get the angle correct, which I can't, unfortunately. If I could get the angle, if I could get it directly down from the top, I'd be absolutely fine, but I can't get the tool in. That's much harder than it should have been. So, obviously didn't put enough grease in last time, or clean it enough. So I'll definitely make sure that I put more grease in this time. So plenty of copper grease to make it easier next time you have to do the job, although I'm hoping probably another 5 years before I have to do this, at least. And now you've got to do the opposite of what you were doing before, you're trying to knock it in now. So I found the easiest thing to do was to make sure it's lined up by screwing in the new bolts a little bit. Yeah, not as easy as I thought it was going to be. The other side was much easier to remove and refit. A combination of tightening up the bolts and knocking it seems to have got it into position now. So now stick the drive shaft back in the hub. Make sure the ball joint is pointing in towards the bottom arm, and then we'll release the tension on the winch that's holding the arm down. I should be able to get the strap out of the way. And now we can tighten the bolt, the nut underneath. Also got lucky the centre didn't turn, so we didn't need to lock it with anything. And now just the drive shaft bolt. So you'll definitely find multiple sources of information regarding what you should do with these drive shaft bolts. I've reused them in the past. I've never ever had a single issue at all, but you are apparently supposed to fit new bolts, and the torque figure that I've seen is 35 Newton meters plus 90 degrees, so 35 newton meters initial torque and then tighten it a further 90 degrees. I don't know what that equates to. Like I say, I've never had an issue reusing these bolts, so it's up to you what you do, but this kit obviously came with it, so I'm going to use it. Thanks for watching. I really do hope this video has helped. If it has, please do leave a comment, and for more videos on this car and many others, please do check out my channel. Thank you.